We can't possibly have a sci-fi event. Rob doesn't like me called a Comic Con for some reason, but we can't possibly have a sci-fi event without having something Star Wars related. I've been doing panels all day. This is actually the one I've been looking forward to doing the most, because it's also Star Wars. We've got you two here. We have John Altman, who you'll know. You will know from his very familiar role, Nicholas Scare Review. Look at his filmography. American Werewolf in London, Star Wars, Return of the Jedi. That's why we're going to be in a Star Wars panel. Brian Wheeler. Got one role, two roles.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you, always. You were also one of my all-time favorite non-Star Wars films, Never-Ending Story.
I was indeed.
I saw that film 3 times in the same week when I was a kid. I just kept going back, so it's my fault the box office is quite big on that one.
I was in the Ivory Tower.
You were in the Ivory Tower?
Filmed in Germany.
Wow. Would you guys like to come around and take a nice little seat? You've got microphones and everything, just pop around with me. There's a secret little escape entrance right here. Nobody knows. It kind of defeats the whole object of having sleepers. We are. They are coming back. I can't believe you did that. That's wrong, John. You're not supposed to do that. Sit where you wish. Every table has a microphone.
Which one is the same?
Right in the middle.
But anyway,
Steve.
Stuart.
I knew it began with an S. Sorry,
Yeah, I've been called far worse. And I probably
Stuart,
will.
I won't forget that.
No, please don't.
I won't forget it now.
Oh, no. So, guys, let's start with John. I suppose it's a question for the pair of you. What were you meant?
Can we turn you up a bit? I can't hear you very well.
Oh, can we turn me up?
Sorry, I don't know if anyone else now.
Everybody else is sick of hearing my voice. I've been turned up now. That's good. Now I'll be muted in about 3 minutes. But it's a question for you both. What are your memories of shooting in Return of the Jedi? Brian first.
Shooting the film.
Shooting the film.
Well, it all started my entertainment career, basically. So they were looking for people under 4'6" in my area, and I got up and I said, I'm under 4'6". And they went, sure? I went, yes, I am. So I went there, got a fitting for an Ewok, and I did Ewok for 2.5 weeks. We filmed that 80 foot up in the air in a make-believe village in Elstree. We only did the interior shots in England, and I only did the interior shots. And then I did another 2 weeks as a Jawa in Jabba the Hutt's Palace, again in Elstree. But for my first job in entertainment, I met Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, and it was like a dream come true. Because I'd seen them in films when I was a child, or the films that they were involved with when I was a child.
Wow. I mean, you were in Jabba's palace.
I was in Jabba's Palace. I had a big frog-cross dog thingy, and also there's a deleted scene, which if anyone's interested, I have photos on sale downstairs. Nice cheap price. But there's a deleted scene where me and Andy had to run across the bars because Mark Hamill had been dropped into the cage with the big animal, and he then was supposed to leap up and grab on the bars, and me and my mate Andy had to run across and thump on his hands to make him drop. Unfortunately, the holes were this big, our eyesight was like that, and we had to run that way. The bars were about that wide. Every time there was, cut, you're right Andy, no, I've fallen through the hole. You're right Blood, no, I've fallen through the hole. So the scene never got shown, but some spooky people took photos of us doing that scene. So I have them downstairs.
Whoever that photographer is, thank you to. Then John, Rebel Pilot,
Yes.
you helped defeat the enemy.
Yeah. It's a blink and you miss me with Return of the Jedi, really. But I did work on it, and very hard to see. I mean, amidst the whole film. But what happened was I did a film a year or two before that with the director, Richard Markman, and a film called Birth of the Beatles. And then a year or so later, he started working on Return of the Jedi, which was fantastic. And he was moving on and up, you know. And so he basically said, "Do you want to come down to Elstree and do like a week or so?" It wasn't. I was only there probably no more than a week. But I don't know. I kind of. It's only in retrospect that I realised how special it was. Really, I think I was a little bit laid back about it all. You know, I don't know why. Maybe it just wasn't a huge part or something. But I do remember having great fun. It was just fantastic to be dressing up in that costume as a rebel fighter pilot and hanging out with Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford and the Wookiee and Billy Dean. Billy Dean Williams. And I just spent a week up there at the old, as Brian was saying, up at the world famous Elstree Studios, which very sadly, some of you may know if you're into film, was divided up some years back due to some unscrupulous, evil, disgraceful gangsters who owned it. They sold half of the studio to Tesco's. You can now go to Tesco's and I think there are plaques that say, here was the tank where they shot Moby Dick. Here was the studio where they shot Star Wars, etc. So thank heavens there's half that studio still there. So wonderful memories. I'd actually shot some of the Beatle film there as well. And I just remember a week of, it's quite slow, isn't it? Making big moves, a lot of hanging around, and just I remember a lot of hanging around in the costume, and then finally getting to shoot a little sequence in the cockpit of one of the fighter jets, and I think my mum said I was going in now or whatever. So it was words to that effect anyway. And I remember sitting in this quite cramped cockpit. And I had all the technology in front of me, but I couldn't actually see out of space. They just had they do more green screen now, don't they? Yeah. But it was like a blue screen then, and I remember that. And I remember all these wires that had been connected up that they were using. It all looked quite amazing actually. Yeah. So that was about it really from my experience, and I look back upon it as being very. I really appreciate having been involved in just a small part of Star Wars, because I love the films, especially the early ones when they came out. For me, I don't think Return of the Jedi is my favourite. It would be The Empire Strikes Back out of all the films. I found it to be a richer, more colourful, more interesting. I don't know, just in every way. I found the script and the photography, etc. to be. I don't know why. It appealed to me more than the rest of them. Excited to see the new ones coming out. Was it coming out in the new year or Christmas?
Yeah, Christmas. People are counting down the hours.
Yes, I would like to have been involved in that, but it didn't happen. But I did actually recently send an audition tape to the illustrious director and producer, Mr. J.J. Abrams. My agent knows he met me in Hollywood, so I'm quite pleased to say he's seen me on the internet, I guess. It's amazing how they do auditions these days. That wasn't for a Star Wars thing, it was something else. He's got his company Bad Robot, JJ, hasn't he? And it was for a series with James Franco, Quantum Leap? Yeah, it was for a part Turkish guy in that. So as an actor, I was the local Turkish restaurant. He used to be a guy from Istanbul, and he read the script that I had onto a tape recorder, and actually was onto my mobile. Very useful, aren't they, like that? And so I learned the Turkish Istanbul accent, Americans and all this stuff, And we sent it over to LA. So JJ's seen me, but I haven't worked with him yet, but I hope to one day. Thank you, JJ.
Brian, what would be your favourite Star Wars film, or does Jedi hold that place in your heart because it launched in?
Well, Jedi obviously launched it with me, and I felt that it finished off everything. I quite often say to people that everything's in threes, comedies, threes. The best films, threes. Would be Back to the Future was 3, Indiana Jones was 3, and then they did 4.
We don't talk about the fourth one. Delete the
Fridge. And then, you know, Die Hard, they did 3, and then 4, 5, 6, 7.
Godfather.
Yeah, The Godfather.
It's 4.
Is it 4? Yeah.
3 Godfathers. Countless Die Hards. I think in the time we've been
Joining
here,
the old
4 more
one.
Die Hards.
Yeah. How many Godfathers?
3.
So that's my thing. And obviously, it started me off in my career. And it finished off everything for me personally. I didn't know why they went to the first 3 previous to that then. But I'm really looking forward to, hopefully they can do the next 3. So we'll see.
Hopefully they're more like the original films than the prequels. Personal opinion.
Yeah.
I like the prequels, I don't love them like I did the original films.
Yeah, you know, Star Wars was Star Wars, you know. Why mess with it? You know.
So Jawa or Ewok, which was...
Oh, Jawa.
Yeah.
Jawa, definitely. Because they're mischievous, they're naughty, costumes are much easier, they're out to make money. Ewoks just want to be teddy bears. You know, what's that? For me, professionally wise, Ewok, I was that much foam all the way around me, with a fur carpet over the top. And I could see again with the eyes and they were steaming up. Jawas are just robes from where to after you finished. Yeah, much more. And also again for me personally, I was on Jabba the Hutt's Palace and there was only 4 Jawas, where Ewoks, there was 40, 50 of us. So, oh, Ewoks, over here. Oh no, not you, you're too tall. But the Jawas, we all had our points and our point. That's why, especially me and Andy Heard, who plays the main other Jawa, we know which ones are us, and we only want to go after the ones that are particularly us. Darth Vader's coming.
Mini Vader.
Now with you, John, was it like Rebel pilots heard that way, or were most of you seeing cockpit based and it was a smaller group?
Yeah, there was some, I think we did a photo, one of the rare photographs I've got of me on it, is in between scenes, which I've got one up downstairs. I got that from America. I think we did a scene in the, at the main control room, that must have been, because that's where that photo was taken from. I've got another one with the director, trying to explain what he wants, so we must have been having a briefing, as you would in World War II or whatever, in the hangout, we were having a briefing about what we had off into battle. I just remembered actually, I found a piece of the, they only gave us pieces of the scripts, you know, like secrecy stuff.
Yeah.
I've got a huge clear out recently because I'm doing an autobiography, and I found my stuff from Star Wars, the script scenes that I did. So I'll have to I was in a bit of a rush clearing it, but I'll have to have a closer look at that. It will remind me of exactly which bits, you know. And I remember also, talking about it, I remember riding down from Boreham Wood with Richard Markham, the director, and George Lucas down to the West End. And I think we went and had some supper somewhere in Maryland or whatever. So that was a fond memory, you know. I should probably go in the autobiography as well. And of course, tragically, very tragically, Richard, he went on to do Jagged Edge, which is a great thriller in America. It was well received, the critics loved it as well. It was a classic thriller, really. He tragically died at a very young age. I believe he was in his 40s. And I don't know, some of us have stronger hearts than others. So, yeah, it was very sad because he was really kind of like moving upwards, Richard. And yeah, he may have done another Star Wars for me, but sadly he's no longer with us. But I think of him, always have fond memories of a lovely man, a real gentleman, a very calm director too. Sometimes get a bit steamed up, start shouting at everyone, but he got the job done without being aggressive or hurtful to any of the cast or crew, which is probably very good to work with. Altman works on the Beatle film, and taking on Star Wars films a big challenge. On the Beatles films was quite a challenge too. We had to shoot 2 hour movie in about 4 weeks, so we had a hell of a lot to cram in. So I always remember, I don't remember him losing it once, which was he was lovely, good man. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of the special features, obviously, about Star Wars, and a lot of the interviews and the behind the scenes, DVD commentaries and stuff. You can hear Richard Marquand talking, and it just looks like he knows his guy.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
It was very cool.
Now, Star Wars. Anybody got any Star Wars questions? I'd be shocked if nobody had Star Wars questions. But then I'd be happy because I just get to ask you guys all the questions.
Following on from what you were saying, do you know if your characters were given names? Did they appear in the novels, or did they have action figures made of them?
Is that for both of us?
Yeah, the Jawa, I did have a name, and I can't remember what it was, because I was actually featured looking after this frog-crossed dog thing. And that was quite strange, because that one couldn't move, because the girl that was inside it had to come up through a hole in the bottom of the stage and work it like that, and half her body was underneath. And I used to pull it, being young and enthusiastic, pull it, and she was pregnant, which I didn't realise. And people would say, leave her alone, leave her alone. I'm trying to act. So that figure had a name. But as an Ewok, I didn't have a name because I was just one of 60, well, in actual fact, if you count the American ones, because all the interior of the village were all British Ewoks, and only 6, maybe 7 were flown over to America, and all the outside redwood shots were all American dwarves.
In my case, he never actually had a name. He was a rebel fighter pilot. One of the many.
You're just a rebel.
Yeah, just a rebel.
In many ways. Quadrophenia.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Any other questions? If we do, I shall ask. I'll be back in a second. You put your hand up first.
Hi, so a question for Brian. When you were an Ewok, did you have a speaking part? And if so, is it an actual language that they speak? And also, the song, did it have any meaning that they all sang?
No, and no. As I was saying, I was just one of the extras, so my mouth never moved. It was just like that. My eyes just stayed open. The main characters, they blinked, they looked around. I was just one of the extras. And as for the song, I haven't got a clue.
Ignoring obvious height restrictions, if either of you could have been any character in Star Wars, who would you have chosen to be?
Your turn first.
Yeah. I guess Han Solo. Yeah. I could have done that. I could have been a contender.
Luke Skywalker. Yeah. I think, yeah. Because
You could do Han Solo. Yes. No. Yes. Next question.
You're talking a little bit about the differences using sort of older technology. Have you worked on films more recently where you're using the more current technology, the CGI, and how does it compare to the old ways of filming?
just pass it over to me.
I'll go. Now, I've mainly been on the TV and not such big budget movies. I've done a few movies over the last couple of years, but so technologically I haven't encountered one of those big pinewood sets for a while, but let's hope that happens sometime soon. Okay, as far as I'm concerned.
And I was obviously on Harry Potter, which basically we changed from blue screen to green screen, which I'm not quite sure why. I think makes it clearer. Yeah, I do. And just imagining things.
All I know is that there used to be blue.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
They were shooting Jack and the Beanstalk and they were diversifying. We were talking about the technology at Hampton Court, and they erected this massive, great green screen up. It was really like a big one, you know. And so I guess they wanted the front of Hampton Court to be set in a valley or on a mountain somewhere. I saw the film, I just about caught what it was. It's also quick, isn't it? And so yeah, that was quite interesting, seeing, I wasn't involved in the film, but seeing the amount of green screen used outside. So, like in the old days, they used to have a glass slide they put into the camera, the name of it now. And so it never looked terribly realistic. but yeah, somebody would be galloping down the road towards a castle in the distance. They'd have this glass that they'd drop in, and that would be, I think they filmed it simultaneously, so it would look like, you know, the fantasy castle background. So the old-fashioned green screen, I guess. They use that for a lot of things.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Pre-Star Wars, that's for sure.
We have a question from a young Lord of the Sith there. And his question is...
Did you see Darth Vader?
Did I see Darth Vader?
Yes.
Only when he was on the funeral pyre.
I never saw him.
That was an easy answer. That's the one I should use.
I was fighting his evil forces. Yeah.
No, I never saw him. He was a very nice man.
Thank you for that, Brian. I saw him. He's dead.
He's going to have nightmares now.
Any other questions? Oh, front row. There was a couple of words I forget because I'm usually wondering.
You don't move people, do you?
No. You're doing this since 10 o'clock.
Can I just throw something in about Star Wars that I thought, why it was a success? I mean, the stories are brilliant, but it had a soul to it, you know? The whole thing with Yoda and the Force. It's very kind of akin to the basis of a lot of religions, if you like. I mean, organised religion can be problematic, especially these days. Yeah, I mean, the basis of all faiths, you know, Muslim, Christianity, Hinduism, which I've looked at all of them over the years. I went to India when I was quite young. And that's what appealed to me greatly about Star Wars, was that was one of the essences of the films, that had that, yeah, it was the Force. The Force for good, you know, and I believe there are forces out there myself that are, well, we've seen it today, haven't we? You know, there's a very evil force out in Syria and Iraq at the moment called ISIS, you know. I was driving up the M6 the other day. It was a van that had the name ISIS on the back. It was some stationery company or something, a communications company. I'm a bit unfortunate to have a name like that. They might have to change it, of course. That's one of the reasons that it appealed to me. It wasn't just a sci-fi movie with a load of spaceships and monsters or whatever. It had soul, it had a heart.
What do you feel of some Jar Jar Binks?
Forget it. What? Eraser would have been good for it.
Anybody else?
Sure, that's like
What's it like working with George Lucas?
Excellent. Yeah.
Do you know any
George,
stories?
I didn't see a lot of George. He was kind of cool. He was there. I mean, I imagine he was obviously conversing with Richard quite a lot. Richard was directing when I was on it for a week, so I don't think. I rode with George. George would probably come over to, make sure everything was rolling along okay. But I think they'd been filming for quite a while by the time I got on board. He seemed,
He was in the background.
He didn't make a lot of noise, but he was there, and his baby. So.
And Steven Spielberg was there as well. They're just there. Yeah.
Now, do you watch the films quite often, or
No. No particular reason. There's just loads of films out there. Harry Potter, I was in 4 of them. I've seen the first one once. Because once you're in it, you do it because it's a job. And basically that is what it all boils down to. It's our job.
There's so much out there, isn't there? And I find it hard to keep up with everything. When I was a kid, I used to go to cinema, you get a film like Ben-Hur come out. But actually, some of the big ones these days, they do stick around for a while. Like the new Star Wars will obviously, but a lot of films just come and go and disappear. And I thought, I've got to track that film down. I found something, one little screen number 3 in the West End somewhere, you know. Yeah. So it's hard to keep up, isn't it? Let alone look back on old.
But also with the television now, you've got all these channels, all these things to watch, you know. And have a social life.
Yeah, box sets to get through.
Yeah.
Somebody recommends something, it's like 10 seasons there for you. That's like
2
years of your life ago.
It makes you want to be ill for a while, doesn't it? Be in bed for a month and you can catch up with all the box sets. No, I don't know. We should wish that.
No, you're kidding. I was fishing for special editions or no special editions of Star Wars. You know, when you go back and you redo things. And are you fans of those or not so much?
Sorry, I
Do
don't
you know the special editions of Star Wars? So
Yeah.
you've got the original theatrical versions and then they bring them back out with new CGI things and different song and dance numbers in Jawa's palace. and
I've
stuff.
got the blue disc ray thingies of them, and I just looked at them to see where I was. To see ones without my head on. You do actually see me talking to Richard without my Ewok and Jawa's head on, and that was the only reason. My wife, sitting down there, I love her. She's never seen a Star Wars film, never seen a Harry Potter film. I mean, other films, we sit and watch it, she goes to sleep. That's life.
Have you?
These re-release, yeah, I don't know, I think I probably would have got the joy out of the original, managed to tinker with it really. Perhaps for die-hard fans it's good to see little clips that weren't in the original. I guess they do it out maybe a few more roll maybe, I don't know.
You can never repeat that first time you see a
No.
film experience ever.
No, the first time Star Wars erupted across the screen was the ship coming first time.
Any other questions before we let these guys run off? No? Yes? Come on. Weird, I'm going to running it.
How many hours were you supposed to be on set when you were working there, and how many time did you actually appear on screen?
To be on set all day. You may not be used all the time. You could. When I moved on to being a Jawa, I was called in for 2 days and I did nothing. I stayed in the dressing room for 2 days. And then I could be filming all day, and it's about 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, in my case, yeah, I think it was about a week I was up there, but Brian says, a lot of hanging around, you know, in the dressing room, etc., chatting with the other actors. We chatted with most of the cast there. But so, I'm interested to look back at my old journals, which I'm doing at the moment actually. So yeah, I mean, if anything, what I did was probably only a couple of minutes from a week's work, you know, less film for you. Unlike, I'll digress slightly, but something like EastEnders, they actually make 2 hours, almost 2 hours of drama every week. Some people think it's sort of easy to do. It's actually very, very hard work. When you consider a whole film can take months. Yeah. So there's a huge difference there. Anyway, yeah.
Oh.
Does that answer your question?
Just to make it run.
Thank you.
So while you were actually waiting for doing your stuff on set for the Star Wars stuff, did you meet any of the other actors or people who you've kind of built friendships and relationships with and kept them for years, you know, ones that you maybe bumped into there?
I've generally bumped into people, I don't know why, well obviously I do know why, but I know a lot of small actors, dwarf actors, and that's most of my friends that I keep bumping into because we're in that sort of vein of filming. I've met a few, I've met John a couple of times with pantomime and various things, but you don't really, you build an instant friendship and then you go away and you don't see each other maybe for years and years, and then you come back and then it's sort of, you're very similar to how you were when you left off. It's not as if we all Facebook each other or write to each other, email each other. You come together, do the job, go away again. I think that's...
Yeah, I mean, for me, I socialised with the cast when I was up there and probably really enjoyed it. I shared a couple of coffees, a couple of Carrie Fisher, you know, whatever. Probably spoke to Harrison Ford in passing. So, but I never really, if I'd been on there for many months, I may have, a bit like when they did Lord of the Rings, they built up huge, quite long, strong friendships between each other, and they all had tattoos done, etc. Or when I did Quadrophenia, that was, that's probably one of the few films where I was still in touch with, say, Toya, Mark Wingett, a whole load of other people, Gary Shale. So I see quite a lot of them, and I'm still sort of in touch with them. For some reason, that was a different kind of thing, and we spent quite a bit of time, so it's not always the case. As Brian said, in our business, you maybe do a tour, and you might keep in touch with one person, nobody, or 3 people, but it's actually quite hard to keep in touch with everybody as well. So you meet so many people in our business, so you can't keep in touch with everyone. Drive impossible. Okay. Yeah.
I'm glad you two have been here to keep in touch with me. No. Everybody else as well. Have you enjoyed your day?
We have.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'd be very pleasant.
And you guys are here for a little while longer downstairs.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be going down and saying hi.
And wants to say hello down there. We've still got a few pictures left.
We have it.
A couple of T-shirts. So first left when you come into the signing room. That's where we'll be. The Return of the Jedi section. Ignore the rest of them. Just come and see us.
I've got to say one thing before we go, is that somebody not too far from me had sent me an email about they wanted to ask me questions. That was you.
That was me.
And I finished the letter M, where the initials were May the Force be with you. And I finished off the letter like that. And he said, okay, first question, what does that mean?
Because I read it really, really quick. And then I didn't sort of look at it. And then Rob, who's running this entire event, he went, how can you not know what that means? And I looked at it and I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, to add to that, it's actually quite a good question. What does it mean? What different people's interpretations. What is the Force? Why should it be anything? Yeah. So there you go.
What is your
interpretation?
What is your interpretation?
Oh,
Yeah, I think I probably
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, but it's slightly different with each person, interpretations. So the power of the Jedi Knights, or it could be something invisible, whatever.
Not medical rings.
that's your homework for tonight.
Yeah.
Tomorrow and the day after. But thank you very much, Brian. Thank you very much, John. Everybody go out and say hi to them.